This is really good. I love it. Shh. Quiet, please. Thank you for staying quiet, class. So, hello, class. Welcome to this week's filmmaking lesson. I might not be here at Lois College. I will be at Walt Disney World to go to Disney's Animal Kingdom. It's the new theme park attraction to go on to the best rides and best restaurants and best shopping districts. All right. First, we will be doing home video releases. Today, we will be doing Honey Girls something film. Here's the plot in this film. Unfortunately, there is no plot. There is no plot in this Honey Girls film. Alright. On tomorrow, we will be doing Injustice something film. Here's the plot in this film. Unfortunately, again, there is no plot in this film. Anyway. Alright. On Wednesday, we will be doing The Night House 2020 film. Here's the plot in this film, finally. Beth has just lost her husband, Owen, to suicide. He took a boat out from their lake house home and shot himself with a gun Beth did not know he owned. Devastated, she spends her nights drinking and going through Owen's belongings. She tries to seem stable and in control, but her friend Claire and neighbor Mel are concerned for her. Owen's ominous suicide note, "You were right. There is nothing is after you. You're safe now," perplexes her. She begins to suffer from strange supernatural events at night and finds a strange reversed floor plan for their house. One night, she discovers a photo on his phone of a woman who looks familiar to her and suspects Owen was having an affair. After a night out with Claire, a drunken Beth reveals that she died for 4 minutes in a car accident years ago and saw that there was nothing when she did die. Owen always disagreed with this and was close to changing her mind before he died. Beth says that when she suffered from depression a year ago, Owen began sleepwalking and she thought she'd passed her negative emotions to him. That night, she is woken by a supernatural presence and witnesses several frightened women fleeing through the woods. She finds blood on the boat where Owen shot himself and feels an invisible presence. Crossing a lake to investigate a strange set of lights, she discovers a reversed copy of her in Owen's house and sees ghostly figures of women with Owen. She passes out and awakens her in her own house. She looks for the reversed house again and finds it. Although this time it is found finished and empty. She retrieves a strange statue from it and confronts Mel, who claims he never saw the house but once saw Owen in the woods at night with a woman who looked at Beth. Searching Owen's laptop, she finds more photos. A woman who looks familiar to her identifies a statue from one of his books as an occult voodoo doll and determines that Owen was trying to learn how to trick and trap demonic entities. Beth finds the bookstore where Owen bought the books and encounters Madeline, one of the women from Owen's photos, who denies sleeping with him. Beth visits Claire, who asks her to spend a few days away from the house. She agrees and heads home to pack, where she threatens the ghost in the house. Madeline arrives and tells Beth how Owen invited her to the reverse house. When Owen kissed her, he attempted to choke her, but apologized after she panicked and drove her back home. A drunk Beth visits the reverse house and under the floorboards finds the bodies of a woman Owen photographed. The invisible force harasses Beth and she hugs it, mistaking it for Owen's spirit. The spirit reveals that it is not Owen and shows her visions of Owen attacking and murdering the woman. The entity drags her through the house, reveals that it was what Beth saw when she died. and identifies herself as nothing. It explains that it tried to convince Owen to kill Beth to try to bring her back to it, but he resisted. He built the reverse house and murdered the Beth lookalikes to try to trick Nothing, but Nothing realized the trick. It traps Beth in a position like a statue she had retrieved from the house. In the morning, Claire arrives and sees evidence of a fight in the house. Discovering the gun Owen used to kill himself is gone, she rushes out to the dock with Mel, where they find Beth floating out in the boat with the gun. In Nothing's dimension, the demon tries to convince Beth to join it and kill herself, but Claire's yells snap Beth out of her trance. Beth sees the outline of the demon in the boat, and when Mel tells her there is nothing there, she replies, "I know." All right. On Thursday, we will be doing old 2021 film. Here's a plot to this film. Married couple Guy and Priska Kalpa are going through a divorce to avoid saddening their young children Maddox and Trent. The couple takes them on the tropical resort as a final family vacation. At the hotel they are staying in, Guy and Priska are given complimentary drinks, and the children befriend the resort manager's nephew, Adib. At night, Maddox and Trent overhear their parents arguing and begin playing a message decoding game with Idlib. The following morning, the manager invites the family to a secluded beach where their 3 additional parties are present. Rapper mid-sized Seaton and a female companion, Surgeon Charles, his wife, Crystal, their young daughter, Kara, and Charles' mother, Agnes, and our Jaren and Patricia Carmichael are close-knit, be a husband and wife. Playing hide-and-seek, Trent discovers the dead body of mid-sized Seaton's companion. Charles grows suspicious of mid-sized Seaton, who reveals that he has been experiencing nosebleeds because of his affliction with hemophilia. After Agnes suddenly dies, the 3 families group together and conclude that the beach is rapidly aging them, with the occupants undergoing the equivalent of a year of aging every 30 minutes. They discover that at least one member of each family has an underlying medical condition, and that trying to leave will result in them blacking out in a fit of rage. Charles cuts mid-sized Seaton with a switchblade, and the group watches as his injury quickly heals. After Prescott develops a stomach tumor, Charles performs a successful surgery to remove it. Soon after, mid-sized Seaton discovers that the body of his companion he has decomposed in a matter of hours. All 3 children have now aged into adulthood. A bond between the maturing Kara and Trent leads to Kara rapidly giving birth, only for the baby to quickly die from the beach's effects. Amid the group struggling to escape the beach, Trent and Maddox discover the notebook of a previous traveler, along with the indications of them being watched. The attempts to grow tenser when Charles' worsening of schizophrenia causes him to kill mid-sized Sidon, while Jaren drowns and Kara falls to her death as they look for a way off. Patricia suffers a fatal epileptic seizure, and Crystal's hypocalcemia results in her bones rupturing, killing her. Charles eventually attacks Guy at night in this schizophrenic episode, but Priska slashes him with a rusted knife, instigating a fatal blood infection that kills him in seconds. As the night winds down, an elderly Guy and Prisca make amends before dying before moments apart from each other. With only the now middle-aged Maddox and Trent remaining by the next morning, the pair constructs a sand castle. They then revisit a secret message given to them by Idilib, which Trent deduces is connected to an underwater coral passage, believing that the passage will allow them to leave the beach without losing consciousness. He and his sister start swimming through the coral. After they fail to emerge from the water, a resort employee monitoring them reports that the entire group has died. He gives the news to the manager, who mentions a previous incident where a guest almost escaped for the beach before announcing the trial 73 was concluded. It is revealed that the resort is a front for its research team conducting clinical trials of new medical drugs, which are administered to guests with medical conditions by spiking their drinks. Since the beach naturally accelerates the lives of the guests, the researchers have been able to complete the drugs' lifetime trials within a day. The researchers move forward with luring a new group to the beach, but are interrupted by arrival of Trent and Maddox, who survived their underwater swim, using a notebook as evidence of several guests going missing. The siblings are able to bring the police to the resort. Once the researchers are arrested, Trent and Maddox head home to live with their aunt, uncertain of their future. Alright. On Friday, we will be doing Scream 1996 film. Here's a plot to this film. High school student Casey Baker receives a flirty phone call from an unknown person during which they discuss their horror movies. However, the caller returns sadistic and threatens her life. He reveals that her boyfriend Steve Orr is being held hostage on her patio and demands she answer questions about horror films. After Cassie gets one wrong, Steve is murdered in front of her. When Cassie refuses to answer more questions, she is murdered by a masked assailant. As her parents come home shortly after, they find her disemboweled corpse hanging from a tree. The following day, the news media descend on the town and the police investigation begins. Meanwhile, Sidney Prescott struggles with the impending first anniversary of her mother. Maureen's murder by her lover, caught in worry, while waiting at home for her friend, Tatum Riley. Sidney receives a taunting phone call. After she hangs up, she is attacked by the killer but evades him. Sidney's boyfriend, Billy Loomis, arrives shortly after, but after he drops his cell phone, Sidney suspects him of making the call and flees. Billy is arrested and Sidney spends the night at Tatum's house, where she receives another anonymous call. The next day, Billy is released and suspicion shifts to Sidney's father, Neil Prescott. As the calls have been traced onto his phone, school is suspended in the wake of the murders. After the students have left the school, the killer stabs Principal Henry to death in his office. Tatum's boyfriend, Stu Major, throws a party to celebrate the school's closure. The party is attended by Sidney, Tatum, their friend Randy Meeks, and many other students. Reporter Gail Weathers attends uninvited to cover the situation, as she suspects the killer to strike. Tatum's brother, Deputy Sheriff Dewey Riley, also looks out for the murderer at the party. The killer corners Tatum in the garage and murders her by crushing her neck with the garage door. Billy arrives to speak to Sidney privately, and the two have sex. while Dewey and Gale investigate the area nearby. Many party attendees are drawn away after hearing news of Hembry's death, leaving to only Sidney, Billy, Randy, Stu, and Gale's cameraman Kenny. After having sex, Sidney and Billy are confronted by the killer, who attacks Billy. Sidney narrowly escapes from the house and seeks help from Kenny, but the killer slashes his throat. Gale and Dewey, having discovered an abandoned car that belongs to Neil Prescott, make their way back. Gale tries to escape in their van, but drives off the road to avoid hitting Sidney and crashes. Meanwhile, Dewey is stabbed by the back while investigating in the house, and Sidney takes his gun for protection. Stu and Randy appear and accuse each other of being the killer. Sidney retreats into the house, where she finds Billy wounded but still alive. She gives Billy the gun before he lets Randy into the house and shoots him. Billy reveals that he feigned his injuries and is actually the killer, but Stu shortly outing himself as his accomplice. Billy and Stu discuss their plan to kill Sidney and pin the murder spree on her father, whom they have taken hostage. The pair also reveal that they murdered her mother and framed Cotton for it, as she was having an affair with Billy's father, which drove his mother away. Gale, who survived the crash, intervenes, and Sidney takes advantage of this to turn the tables on her attackers, knocking out Billy with an umbrella and dropping a television set on Stu's head, killing him. But Billy then awakens and attacks Sidney, but Gale shoots him. Randy is revealed to be wounded but alive, and remarks that the killer always resurfaces for one last scare. Sidney takes a gun and shoots Billy in the head, killing him for good. As the sun rises and police arrive, Dewey, badly injured, is taken away by ambulance, and Gale makes an impromptu news report about the night's events. Alright. Also on Friday, we will be doing Snake Eyes 2021 film. Here's a plot to this film. A young boy is orphaned when his father is murdered. 20 years later, the boy is grown into a talented and deadly martial arts fighter, driven by a desire to avenge his father. To conceal his true identity, he calls himself Snake Eyes, a name inspired when his father's murder forced him to roll a pair of weighted dice to determine his fate, killing him when he rolled double once. Wealthy Yakuza boss Kenta Takamura discovers Snake Eyes in an underground fighting circuit located in Los Angeles. Kenta offers to find his father's killer is Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes will work for him. When Snake Eyes is asked to prove his loyalty by shooting a man who betrayed Kenta's trust, Snake Eyes refuses and instead helps the traitor escape. The traitor is Kenta's cousin, Tommy. Tommy and Kenta were both in line to lead the Arashikaji clan, an ancient ninja society devoted to preserving order and fighting evil. Kenta sought to kill his cousin, but failed when he was banished. Grateful to Snake Eyes, Tommy takes him to his ninja dojo in Japan and asks that he will be initiated as a member. The current clan leader, Sen, Tommy's grandmother, agrees to let Snake Eyes undergo their 3 trials to determine if he was worthy. The clan's head of security, Akiko, doesn't trust Snake Eyes at first, but he wins her trust by revealing his father's murder and explains that his wife there is no recorded history of him. Unbeknownst to anyone, Snake Eyes plans to betray his new allies. Tommy's attempted murder and escape is shown to have been staged by Kenta in order to get Snake Eyes close enough to steal the clan's most sacred treasure, the Jewel of the Sun, which has magical powers. Snake Eyes finds himself increasingly torn between his guilt over betraying Tommy as the clan and his overwhelming desire for revenge. He passes the first two trials with his exceptional talents, but the third and the final trial requires the spirit to be tested by sacred anacondas, who can sense if he is truly pure of heart. Due to Snake Eye's secrets, the snakes attacks him, but Akiko saves him from being killed. Confronted by the clan, Snake Eyes admits that he has not been entirely honest, but manages to hide the true reason he is there. As a consequence, he is expelled. Snake Eyes returns in secret and steals a jewel using his knowledge of the clan's temple, delivering it to Kenta. Kenta explains that he is stealing the jewel on behalf of terrorist revolutionary organization Cobra. Cobra, through their liaison, the Baroness has been arming Kenta with weapons so that he can seize control of the Arashikage clan. Snake Eyes receives his reward for stealing the jewel. His father's killer, who turns out to be a Cobra agent, having realized that he is bloodlust, has cost him. Snake Eyes spares the man and instead goes back to the Arashikage clan to warn them of Kenta's attack. Tommy puts aside his anger and lets Snake Eyes assist him with the clan's warriors, including Scarlet, a member of the international peacekeeping organization G.I. Joe, in fighting off Kenta's men. After Kenta admits that he has no intention of handing over the jewel, the Baroness forms a temporary alliance with the Arashikage clan in Scarlet. With his men defeated, Kenta loses the jewel to Tommy, who, overwhelmed with fury, tries to use its power to kill Kenta. Kenta manages to escape, but Snake Eyes traps him in the anaconda pit, where the snakes devour Kenta upon sensing his evil spirit. The snakes then judge Snake Eyes to now be lured of heart for foregoing his lust for revenge, thus now being worthy of joining the clan. After the battle, Sen tells Tommy that he is no longer fit to lead the clan, as he broke his vow never to use a jewel. Enraged at losing his birthright, Tommy forsakes the clan, his family, and vows to kill Snake Eyes if should they ever meet again. Snake Eyes meets with Scarlet, who, after explaining that his father was a G.I. Joe agent, offers him a chance to become a Joe. In a mid-credit scene, on a private jet leaving Japan, the Baroness recruits Tommy into Cobra and renames himself Storm Shadow. Alright, that's all the home video releases we got. So second, we will be doing TV series over home video releases. It is about Tari Tari. Episode number 8, Worrying and Racing Ahead. After being checked by the hospital, Sawa is told by her father to quit horseback archery. Sawa later reveals to Shiho that Shiho was skipping meals as she was attempting to apply for running in school, but wasn't accepted due to her weight and height. The ordeal leaves Sawa a bit shaken and emotionally fragile. With the vocal group hoarding the practice rooms, the choir club goes to Wayne's house, where Sawa explains her troubles, reacting harshly when Sarokana suggests she take a step back. The next day, as Naoko tries to get Konetsu to withdraw her application for use of the stage, Wakana explains that she learned by being able to sing with others, which reminds Naoko of Mahiru. Naoko decides to have the choir club to participate in a committee meeting to prove their growth. As the others send Sawa's words of encouragement, she overhears her father as he pleads to the riding school to have them accept her. Encouraged by her friends, Sawa rushes a horseback to join her friends, sides at the committee meeting. Alright, that's all the TV news over home releases we got. So, third, we will be doing Emma Monkey Pictures and Roman Cow Productions and Donkey Teeth Company shorts. It is about Tom and Jerry, a mouse in the house. In 1947, Tom and Butch compete against each other to catch Jerry and Mammy Two Shoes. On Mammy Two Shoes orders, but she ends up kicking out all three animals. In this note, rarely seen on Cartoon Network on Boomerang due to perceived racial abuse occurring in the end, third time both Tom and Jerry lose. Alright, so that's all the shorts we got. So fourth, we will be doing Simpson Galaxy S21 plus 5G series. It is about Mei who gets Sana Futaba an anniversary. She skips school and then she skips Lois College to go to the mall to buy Spencer ideas, and she films on YouTube to post on YouTube for Spencer's store management of her vlogs, and she manages to have her vlog posted into YouTube after she vlogs all the stores to find out what Santa Futaba has to get, and Santa Futaba friendly releases her identity to have her anniversary to her card that she owes the Lois College Committee to be her first student in this class. And maybe Santa Futaba and Tsukiyamani and Mufio Asusa and Kari Kino are about to leave Lois College, as Kari Kino waits outside for Mimi and Santa Futaba and Tsukiyamani and Mufio Asusa. Alright. That's all I got for today. Let's do some work now. Hey! Hi! You wanna come to DC's Animal Kingdom with me? Yeah, sure I do. Okay, let's go. Yeah, okay, let's go. Alright, let's go everybody. Good.